Right, this is what I want. I think, yeah, this one. The big rock. Okay, there we go.
Big rock.
Digimon.
Wait, why is it just a big... Oh, okay. Yeah, it's zoomed in. On this episode, Kenta and Kazu were idiots.
Yeah, like... in hindsight, I feel like the last episode was supposed to make them more likable, and it did. But boy, are they idiots.
Rika's like, alright, the others might come back to the flag, so you guys stay here, I'm gonna go look around. Because, Rika's got a partner Digimon, she can more safely do that.
Oh my god, this whole flag situation is like the most frustrating crap ever.
Yeah. So she goes off, and then Kenta and Kazu follow her. And then guess who shows up at the flag?
Literally everyone.
Yeah, not only Takato and his group, but Calamon himself.
Yeah, Calamon takes the flag, and Takao's group leaves, and they come back to the flag, and they're like, oh, hey, like, I guess Rika must have, like, not come back here. Oh, well.
Yeah.
They come back to it twice.
Yeah, they leave, Calamon shows up, takes the flag, and then Calamon takes off to try to find the kids. Then the kids come back, and Guillamon's like, I spell Calamon, he's been here.
So we should probably, like, lead with just pointing out that it's like, yeah, Riku and, like, the others, like, her little group met back to the point where they first arrived in the digital world. And they're like, hey, maybe we should wait here. And, like, they just don't.
Rika's just like, you were supposed to stay at the flag, and they're like, oh yeah! And it's like, oh my god, you guys are so stupid.
I do want to mention that it's like, to be fair, Rika does also leave the flag. And she does come across another beam of light that teleports people. So, like, if they weren't with her, she could have probably been just teleported off. But, like, then she would have been like, okay, I need to get back to the flag and everything would be fine.
Yeah, the difference is that Rika can handle herself because she's got Renamon.
Well, except for when we need Poochie, of course.
Yeah, Rika takes an L in a fight because Rio has to show up and show off.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting very, like, out of order right now, which is, like, I mean, it's fine, but it's like, yeah.
We probably are. Well, okay, so...
so
the thing where Kenta and Kazu come after Riko when she told them not to happens, and then they get hit by a beam of light.
Yes. Screw Kenta and Kazu, you should have stayed at the flag. Which, I guess to be fair, an evil Digimon could have shown up. But still, like, the flag, though...
The area's pretty empty. I think the chances of that are pretty low.
You know what, I'll be, like, super fair here. We did just have a roaming herd of Ultimates and a Miramon just, like, show up last time. And that wasn't that far away from that flag. Like, if Rika took too long, they could have just, like, easily been kidnapped or something, because, like, Digimon are nuts.
I think they'd have been fine. But hey, it's whatever the writers would have wanted to do, you know?
Yeah. See, it's like... So, like, Rika and the Yars get, like, teleported away. And they just show up in this weird, like, gear area of the desert. And it's like, oh... I guess this is, like, the new location. It honestly looks really cool.
It's a pretty neat area.
Like, I saw this on the episode preview, and I was like, oh, like, how are we gonna get it? It's like, oh, right, of course. Of course we just run to a beam of light and it just teleports them there.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, there's a bunch of cogs and gears and such just spinning around.
Yeah, doing their thing.
Also, Rika calls Kenta and Kazu idiots because she's had
Yeah.
enough of them.
Yeah. Wait a minute, are they like spinning around or are they not spinning? I can't remember which one it is at first.
They start all the cogs and gears are spinning when they get there,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
except for the ones that are like embedded in the ground.
Yeah. Because they show up here and they just find a clock. And they're like, oh hey, what's this about? And just, like, off to the side, there's just a Clockmon and an effing, like, Haguramon. Just like this gear Digimon. And they're like, oh hey, like, don't touch that clock. If the clock starts, like, working normally, then, everything's gonna go bad.
By the way, I think. Hold on. We can keep going. I think Hagurumon is just like Gearmon in English.
No, I'm pretty sure he's, like, Haguramon.
I'm looking. I'm looking.
Because, like, I remember it, right?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I'm just okay. I guess I'm just surprised it's not. They didn't change it to like Gearmon.
Yeah. Because that would have, like, made sense, but would have also sounded really dumb.
Yeah. Uh. But yeah.
Yeah. So they're like,
See the
hey,
clock.
Rika, don't touch that clock, and she touches it, and things go bad.
Yeah. Like she's caught off guard by the Clockmon yelling at her, and she touches it by accident.
Yeah, it seems like she just kind of does it anyways.
Well, like it seemed like she was going for it intentionally, but after she was yelled at, it seemed like she kind of absent-mindedly touched it.
Yeah, that seems fair. That seems like what happened.
She's like, huh, and like touches it, and then it makes the second hand start spinning.
Yeah, so
because that's what it was. The minute hand is going crazy, the hour hand is stuck in one place, and the second hand is like going stuck right before the 12.
yeah, okay, yeah, that sounds right.
And then she touches the second hand, and it starts working again.
Yeah, so the clock starts working normally, and all the gears stop moving.
Yeah, none of these details are really important. It's just how it happens.
Yeah.
Everything stops moving, and then a Megadramon erupts from the ground.
So, like, you're watching the episode right now, right?
Yeah.
When the Megadramon comes out, is it not, like, purple? Like, when it first, like, shows off. Like, when you first get a glimpse of it.
I thought it was a Gigadramon at first. I remember having that thought, so...
Yeah, because I feel like they miscolored it at first. I was like, wait, it's like, oh yeah, Gigadramon, because it's purple. And it, like, comes out and it's Megadramon. And I was like, oh, are there two of them? And it's like, no, it's just the one. But they, like, screwed up the color on, like, the opening shot, it seems, maybe.
No. No, actually, you can see that it's not purple.
Oh, really?
The area what you're probably thinking of is the area around its eye is purple, and that's one of the first things you see.
Okay, yeah, that makes way more sense, actually.
Yeah, but the first shot you see of it that's not that area, that part of it is, like, the brown color.
Yeah, because I never noticed that, like, the area around Megadramon's eyes was purple, and I associate that color with, like, Gigadramon.
Yeah.
So, like, you see it and you're like, oh yeah, Gigadramon. It's like, oh no, it's not actually. Even though they're basically the same Digimon, but still.
Yeah. Also, this Megadramon is gigantic.
Yeah, he's weirdly big. Let me just, like, bring up a quick thing of that. Because, like...
We get some exposition from the Clockmon that, it's believed that if you defeat a Digimon who has a tamer, then you gain the power to go to the real world.
Yeah, honestly, that feels like the biggest, like, progression this episode. That's, like, we learned that, right? Because, like...
I think we kind of had that idea already.
Yeah,
Because
but
Digimon were already like, oh yeah, if we get strong enough, we can go to the real world. So it kind of
yeah.
makes sense progression of that thought.
Yeah, this is just like the first time we're hearing like, oh, they're specifically targeting trainers like Digimon. Like as in specifically like, our characters Digimons. So it's
Yeah.
like, alright, that makes sense as to like, why they're not just like staying in the digital world and like, well, I guess it's like, no, because I guess the ones we've been seeing so far have been like in the real world anyways. But it's like, yeah, I guess there still would be the idea of like, oh, if I kill a Tamer's Digimon, I'll just get more powerful and I'll be able to stay longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, makes sense, I guess. But yeah, so it's like Gigadramon just comes out of the effing sand. It's like that's when we like first meet effing Poochie and his Poochette. And
Yeah, so Rika's trying to fight Megadramon with Cubimon, which is honestly a bad idea.
I already regret calling Cyberdramon that. That sounded horrible as soon as I like just left my mouth.
Cyberdramon's the least offensive of the two being in these episodes because I like Cyberdramon.
Yeah, Cyberdramon's very straightforward and simple-minded.
He wants to fight.
So yeah, like Rick is just attacking this thing with like Cubimon for some reason, even though it's an ultimate, and even though she can totally just use a blue card, which she just has. Cause like
No. We can't have Cubimon evolve to Ultimate to fight Megadramon because Cyberdramon has to appear.
Cyberdramon has to save them, cause like Rio's the biggest Poochie. So it's like Cyberdramon just shows up and just like wrecks Megadramon like immediately. And he's like, "Are you my arch enemy or whatever?"
Yeah, and he just crashes it into the ground and blasts it and it just wins the fight.
Yeah, just immediately, basically.
To be fair, Cyberdramon is an ultimate.
Yeah. Cyberdramon's like on this thing's level, but like holy crap.
I think he's also a vaccine type.
Yeah.
So this probably wasn't gonna go well for Megadramon in any way.
Oh man, Rio's so special. His partner Digimon's an ultimate. Oh my god.
Look at his perfectly tan skin and his bright blue eyes. And he shows up with the strongest Digimon.
His perfect smile.
Yeah, his shiny white teeth. These are all things that Rika brings up specifically.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if you caught, but it's like, as soon as, like, Rio shows up, like, Rika just stares at him, and she's immediately seemingly into him.
That's not the case, though. I think it's actually she's just surprised to see him.
I think she's, like, smitten of it, because she keeps, like, acting really tsundere about it.
Nah, she just doesn't like him.
Are you sure? Because she's like, oh, that stupid guy with his, like, like, blue eyes and amazing smile.
I mean, it is weird, but I legit, I don't remember, but I don't think Rika likes him.
I think it's legitimately she's being tsundere. Like, she doesn't want to admit, but she is into him. But she hates that she's into him. Because, like, I feel like I've observed a mini anime tsundere. This feels super tsundere. Like, extremely so.
I don't know. Rika gives him a real dirty look, like, after he shakes her hand, and then she doesn't want to be around him to the point that she, like, splits off from everybody.
And she's like, I'll show that, Baka.
A bit of backstory on Rio, or at least as much as I know. Rio is from a Wonder Swan game. And that's all I know about Rio.
So I remember wiki diving this before at some point, so I have a bit more context. So
Cool.
like, as far as I'm aware, like what the deal is that it's like Millenniumon is like formed from like the leftover data of like, like Chimeramon, like Machine Dramon stuff, and he's like, this amalgamation of an amalgamation, and like somehow Rio and Kin beat him in the Wonder Swan game, and then Millenniumon like becomes Cyberdramon.
Oh, okay.
So like that's why he just has this random ultimate with him that like he can barely control, cuz he like made Millenniumon his partner, and it's like I for I'm not sure what's like arch enemy is or what that's about, but it's like, because it used to be this crazy, like, super powerful mega or whatever, it's like actively fighting being his partner, basically.
Mm,
Like,
okay, that makes more sense.
yeah.
I was wondering if there was like something in the Wonder Swan games that would tell us like the arch enemy he's searching for.
It would, I imagine it would be on the wiki or something, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
Maybe, because, like, I don't know. Maybe, like, the enemy is searching for, like, straight up is Machine Dramon, or, sorry, is Millenniumon or something, right? Because, like, Millenniumon's a weird, like, time thing, so it can, like, do all kinds of weird nonsense. Because, like, I mean, this is, like, kind of spoilers, but I do remember that it's, like, Cyberdramon does have, like, a different mega form he gets in this series, and it's
Yeah.
not Millenniumon. So it's like maybe he's like, trying to do the no.
We do know in general Cyberdramon hunts down virus Digimon.
Yeah. So I know that does make sense to me though, because it's like Millenniumon is a virus attribute. It is a virus. Like maybe the sub of like Tamers is gonna make it more clear, but it might not. If nothing else, this is like already way better than like O2 just like randomly having Rio show up in like a flashback with like Millenniumon just in the background, and you just knew like nothing about either of them. And that was somehow apparently the story of how like Kin learned to evolve Wormmon. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so I can actually check on something, because like maybe I just Google like someone's arch enemy.
Yeah, good idea. I was just looking at the wiki.
Alright, it's heavily implied that Millenniumon is the true enemy of Cyberdramon, searching for a Rio state in the CD drama. So in the audio drama, that the true enemy lies with him, and the only plausible candidate for that is Millenniumon. Okay, so it actually is just straight up. It's like his arch enemy is himself, but he doesn't realize it. So he's to like conquer the darkness within. Ah, that's super weird.
Hey, how appropriate for later. Anyways.
How appropriate for later.
I mean, considering what his mega form is.
Yeah, that does make sense. But yeah, so like Cyberdramon just beats Megadramon super easily. And like we just see Rio just like controlling him and stuff. And he's like, so here's the thing, it's like now that I have confirmation on that, I kind of hate Rio more because it makes him even more special. Rio's partner used to be the strongest Digimon ever. Oh my gosh.
Well, I mean, at least now he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, he is super strong, but probably no stronger than an Ultimate normally would be.
Ryo's partner used to be an ultra level Digimon that evolves into other ultra level Digimon.
To be fair, this came from a video game where the protagonist has to have a big, cool, like, final boss deal to deal with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is kind of like a they came up with this plot for the game and they're like, you know what, we like Ryo, let's make him canon.
Let's do that tie-in stuff. I know the Japanese fans seem to be happy. The English fans have no idea what this guy is, but like over here, people seem to like him.
Yeah. So in the dub, it was always like, oh yeah, Ryo, the best card player in like the Digimon card game and everything. And I'm just kind of glad that that's not a thing that they shoehorned into the English dub to like be like, okay, this is who he is.
Yeah.
In the original version, he's also the top card player, and that's how they associate him with or how they introduce him to the audience.
Should we like play the Wonder Swan game at some point? Like try to emulate it?
You're gonna get a Wonder Swan emulator running and find a ROM of this game, and then like have like a page of translations open.
Yeah, you're right. I should probably just read the wiki.
It's a Japanese only game. We didn't get it. I don't even think we got the Wonder Swan.
Yeah, wait, the Wonder Swan was a console?
I think so.
Wait, that's what the deal is?
I mean, yeah, the thing Ryo's from is a game.
I know it's a game, but I didn't know the Wonder Swan was... I know, I thought it was like maybe a company or something. I know. You know what, screw it, I'm looking this up. I need to know.
Alright. So, yeah, this is just how confusing Ryo's inclusion into Tamers is. Especially for English viewers who have no idea or context, except for, like, the wiki dive Death did. But yeah, otherwise, this guy is like, who?
Yeah, like, this is... I hate that this is, like, a thing. At least, like, in Tamers, this is, like, making way more sense. Because he just shows up, and it's like, alright, you have pretty much all the information you need, except for the stuff about Cybergermon. Because it's like, alright, who is he and why does he matter? It's like, alright, well, he's the top tamer in, like, the card game. He's the guy who beat Rika, and he, like, somehow ended up in the digital world. So it's like, okay, that's comprehensive enough, it feels like.
Yeah.
It's
and
not...
and then he's probably a fun bit of fan service for anybody who actually played those games.
Yeah. It's not like Black Clover, which probably has, like, the worst example of this ever. Which is, like, a thing... I'm sure I've talked about this before. But it's like, I feel like an arc just happens, and they're just like, oh, hey, we need to, like, save this person, you know, like, one of our teammates or whatever. So they just walk off to a random cottage, and they're like, oh, hey, it's these guys, and there's a little, like, note at the bottom that says, like, these characters are from the untranslated visual novel.
Sick.
And they give zero explanation for, like, who any of them are, and they all play a major role in the arc.
Okay, that's different. I was gonna say, well, this is kind of like what they did with Konosuba, from what I've seen.
Really?
Yeah, because Wiz, I believe, is their name. Like, she just pops into the series out of nowhere, but from what I understand, she's from the manga, nowhere else.
Yeah.
And I think the episode also has a thing where it's just like, Wiz is from another thing.
Yeah, alright. Okay, so yeah, his partners are Vmon, Cybergermon, and Millenniummon. And he is a blue D3, what the crap? I guess that makes sense, but like, what the crap? Digivice borrowed from Taichi Kamiya.
That's another thing. I forgot about this. Ryo is canon to the 02 universe, but also to Tamers somehow.
Yeah. So he has multiple Digivices. Alright,
isn't his D3 in this like purple or black?
Something like that. So yeah, he's from Digimon Adventure, Anode Tamer and Cathode Tamer. I think this is what it is. I know. I've wiki diving as fast as I can to try and figure this out. Okay, yeah, alright. These are 2 video games for the Wonder Swan, so it probably is like a console. They represent the first installment of the Tamers series, starring Ryo. So a few Digimon games released in English by Bandai Asia with its colorized port for the Wonder Swan color. What the crap?
Wait, it did get localized?
It did get released in English, apparently. Okay.
Maybe it's the East Asian version or something.
Okay, so it's a cartridge game. So, Ryo's a boy roughly the stage of... you know, like, you just keep going with the episode. I'll just read through this and I'll, like, summarize it in, like, a second.
Okay. His D3 is blue.
Mm.
That's just something I went back. It also has a whip function.
Yeah.
Which he uses to rein in Cyberdramon. Let's see. He fixes a Gurumon because, of course, he does, and he gets.
He saves all the Digimon because he's the biggest Poochie.
Yeah, he just kind of pops the gear into Hagurumon's mouth, and it's like, all right, you're fixed.
So it's like, as like reading through, it's like, oh yeah, he goes to a digital world, immediately finds Tai's Agumon.
Amazing.
Ryo is summoned because a powerful evil Digimon called Millenniumon captured the Digidestined, then warped the very essence of time and resurrected previously defeated evil Digimon, such as Devimon and Myotismon. So he like has to defeat all of the like adventure bad guys, so we can save Tai and the others. After a good by Kawagumon / Swellmon, depending on which game. So he befriends Leomon, Andromon, and Piximon. Because of course he does.
I see.
And he beats Edamon as well. And he beats the Dark Masters. Wait, no, he just beats Piedmont, it seems. He fights Millenniumon, and based on the game, Millenniumon takes the form of either Machinedramon or Chimeramon. Because of course, yeah. They're able to vanquish the villain and rescue Tai. Last of the Digidestined held prisoner. His task is done. Bids his friends a tearful farewell and returns home, where his parents note he seems to have grown up a bit. This explains nothing. Why is Ken here? How did Ken, like... I guess he just beat Millenniumon with, like, everyone's help. But then where were they in 02?
Don't worry about
it. Battles are based on turns to draw attack ones that are next to him, or use variable moves to attack the ones that are far away. That sounds like a neat system, actually. Then walk through camp, land, ocean Digimon reach fair distance, earth and water respectively. Sky Digimon can fly a long way.
Let's draw a line at learning the game's mechanics, because that's unimportant.
Yeah, that's super fair. I'm just trying to, like, figure out, like, how exactly did this go down? Okay, there's nothing on that.
It doesn't matter. Ryo's just a fan service character.
I guess he hasn't got a partner and just got to Mega because that's what happens in the game or whatever. You get the Myotismon? What? So Rio had like a Vermiotismon confirmed.
I mean, he could have, I guess.
Okay, yeah. And wait, what? Oh no, it's just a list of all. Alright, never mind. Okay, alright. So that explained nothing, but I feel like I at least have like some kind of grasp on this now. However vague, like I do know they got to the digital world because he heard a voice and touched his like computer, which like no, his computer probably has a strange device, which he touched, and there's little like brackets around like recklessly.
I mean, it's fine. That's about right. So, we cut back to Takato and his group.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
you know in Hanna-Barbera cartoons where you just see the one wall that looks different because it's not part of the background.
Yeah.
It just looks way less detailed than everything else because it's the one element that has to move.
Mm-hmm.
That's what this area feels like. There's walk inside this ram tomb and there's just this one little like square off to the side. This one little cubbyhole square that's like clearly different from the rest of the environment. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I wonder if this thing's going to take them away. And then it does.
Yeah, they all climb into it, and it's like, oh yeah, cool. So the weird box thing. Everybody get in, and it's like, oh, it's almost like a vehicle, and then it closes up and flies away.
It seems like it shrinks too for some reason.
I think it does, but I'm gonna chalk it up to digital world shenanigans that it doesn't crush them.
Just shrinks, pulls them away, and then there's like it dropped off somewhere else, and it's like, oh, alright. I guess this is where episode 29 happens.
Yep. Meanwhile, Makotomon's flying around on that dragon Digimon trying to find Calamon.
So is that all that happens in 28? Because like all this stuff goes down and like Rika like has a conversation with like Rio through the fire where it's like framed in front of them and it looks cool. And then Rika just like runs off on her own.
Calamon finds the flag, takes it, and then the scene where they're hanging out around the campfire happens.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we've solved the mystery of the Wonder Swan game, haven't we?
I guess.
Because like it's still super weird feeling, but I guess like Wallace really is there to learn at this point, right?
Oh, Rika doesn't just go because of her dislike of Rio. Kazu also is talking a bunch of trash about how she's only second best compared to Rio.
Yeah, that's what really ticks her off.
Yeah.
And she just like runs off and Rio's like, no way. She's like, oh yeah, I'll just go up and I'll get to the real world or whatever. And he's like, no, that doesn't work. And she just runs off without listening.
Yeah. So as much as I think Rio's inclusion in the story is kind of like out of nowhere and kind of like bleh, like if they're going to make it so he's been here for 10 months and like he knows what he's doing, then maybe the other character should listen to him.
Yeah. Right, that's another thing, because, like, Rio also fixes the clock.
Yeah, he pulls out a pocket knife and stabs it into the clock and stops the second hand again.
Yeah, he's like, and now will never be a problem ever again. I have solved all your worries. For I am Poochie the Tamer. Should we explain that for people who might not know about Poochie?
If you want.
Yeah, it's like just a Simpsons episode where they're like, oh yeah, we need to get ratings up. So they get Homer on to like voice a character who is a rapping dog that is super in with the kids. And like Homer tries to speak against the company, so they like cut out his dialogue and just dub in a voice that says like, "I must go now, my planet needs me," and they just lift the still right out of frame, and Poochie's just gone from the series.
And then Bart says something like, "Oh man, I hope we see him again." And then there's like a I think Krusty says it. It's either Krusty says it or there's like a message that pops up. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's
But
like a
it's
little
like,
message that says Poochie died on the way to his home planet.
yeah,
So if you're as big a big like Mary Sue like just super special whatever, just appeal to the youth and whatever type of character, then you're a big Poochie.
yeah, Poochie the dog is like the most '90s thing ever, which is kind of the point.
Yeah, because they're like poking fun at that type of character.
Yeah, it's like, hey kids, hello youth.
Yeah, it's like hello fellow kids, and it's like
Yeah,
nothing
yeah,
like,
there we go.
is it like Christopher Walker or something? Just dressed in like just casual wear and like a baseball cap.
I have
With like
no idea.
because it's like I know it's like him walking around just like like a '90s skater kid. He just got a skateboard over his shoulder. And he's like, "How do you do, fellow kids?"
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much the idea. Uh, Also, it's worth noting they introduced Poochie to like the Itchy and Scratchy show, and he's just a character that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah,
And comparisons.
just steals the entire plot of the series.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
it's
oh,
like
Itchy and Scratchy are going towards a fireworks factory. I can't wait to see how they blow each other up. And, like, Poochie just shows up and drives them off to the beach, and they never get to the fireworks factory.
also I think there's like a scene where they're like talking with like a test group or investors or something, and somebody's like, when Poochie isn't on screen, people should be asking, "Where's Poochie?"
Yeah. Isn't that where we get the, like, bit where it's like, they're, like, asking the kids what they want to see, and they're like, who wants to see a show about people being super hip and reliable? And they're just like, yeah. It's like, who wants to be a show about giant robots spying aliens? It's like, yeah. It's like, oh, so you want a show about giant robots that's also really hip and reliable? And they're just like, yeah, I guess. There's like memes of people being like, oh, that's how Evangelion happened.
Oh man, yeah, I've never seen. I've never actually seen the episode, just bits and pieces of it.
That might be a different episode. I don't know, but I would not be surprised.
Yeah. Let's see. So yeah, kids talking around the campfire. Rika gets mad. Credits. All right.
I want to just get a scene where Rio's just like, I must go, my planet needs me, and he just flies up to the real world sphere and disappears. So, are we good to move on to episode 29?